Starlight, star bright, the last star you'll see tonight. Hello, hello. I am the last real stargazer, Saturn J Blues, or Blues if you're nasty. Yes, I'm stuck in my human form. We don't talk about that. What I want to talk about right now is the WWE. I love the WWE. I have loved it since I was a small boy. I've watched everything about it. Back when the WWE Network was a thing, I went back and watched, things that happened before I was even born. I love the WWE. And from the Saudi deal and COVID on, I stopped watching it. However, thanks to, my friends and also the subreddit R² Circle, I've been able to keep myself knowledgeable and in tune with WWE. When Vince left, one of my previously favorite wrestlers of all time, Triple H, Paul Levesque, took charge of WWE under Endeavor. And there was a big wrestling boom period. And for the first time since, the Saudi Arabia and COVID stuff happened, I was excited to see what was going on with WWE. I even watched Wrestlemania, where one of my favorite wrestlers, Cody Rhodes, won the WWE Championship and finished the story. Fast forward to now. Yeah, this is what I'm reacting to. Steven Larson, who, funny enough, I used to watch them back on Machinima when they used to do their top 10s. So this is kind of a return to form. Because I follow Steven Larson. They're also how I get my wrestling news as well. They did a video called 10 Things That Killed the WWE Boom Period. So I thought, why don't we take a look, watch it, and I commentate and give my opinions on, the 10 things that they, said. So let's get into it. Ready, steady, go.
Hey, Friendos, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. Larson, I got a question for you. Just off the top of your head, just without thinking about it. What's the hardest profession in the world?
Before he answers, customer service. The worst, literally. Okay. Firefighters, first responders, police officers. Yeah, I get it. They see the worst of humanity, during and possibly during like their last moments of life. I get it. That's a tough job. But in dealing with the worst of humanity outside of that, customer service, like full stop. The stories I could tell about okay, you know what? I'll tell one right now, real quick. I used to work at a place called, let's call it Cool Fox Lodge. And I worked as a customer service rep. My soul has withered by this point. It was like my third year. I sat down, logged in, did all my stuff. First call I get. Hi, I want to book a room for the Cool Fox Lodge, just for one night in a family suite. My son decided to try to burn his house down for the insurance and nearly killed all three of his children. He's in prison. The children are wrecked. I know it's close to the holidays, but I just want to find, a nice place for them to stay. I don't care about the price. This was the sweetest old lady I'd ever talked to. Sweet old black lady. She's calling me all the sugars and sweeties and all that. But why did you give that to me? She didn't even want a discount. The craziest part is she did not want a discount. There were no discounts going. She just told me that story. And then it was just like, yeah. And she paid for the room. Sweetheart, bought a lot of packages. But like, why did you offload that on me? Because for the rest of the day, I'm going to think about that poor woman. And it's been like, what, 2, 3, like quite a few years. And I'm still thinking about that old woman. And that's, is that a good story? No, I don't know if that's a good story or a bittersweet story. I don't know what it is, but legitimately, I've thought about that woman on and off since then. And that's the more pleasant story. I've had people get, okay, another quick story. During one of my shifts, I think it was like a midnight shift, fucking a woman calls and goes, I'm leaving. I'm not paying for my suite. My boyfriend just got arrested for domestic abuse. I don't care. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And she's like, no, you're not. You're not sorry to hear that. You're probably over there giddy because, the problem, couple finally got arrested. My daughter's going to be taken away. You guys are a bunch of piece of shit. I hate you. How dare you call the police on us? And it's like, I'm like, whoa. Okay, first of all, I need to transfer you over to the front desk. But it was bad. Like, I still don't know the details of it. All I remember from the front desk, they just went, oh God, we'll take care of it. And it sounded like the most despondent person I had ever spoken to. So like we see like customer service reps, we get shit hours, shit pay, clicky managers, all of the quid pro quo-ness at a customer service. Oh, I'll give you a promotion if you do tricks on it. It's like and the last one, I'm not joking. I had a manager who literally was like, oh, I'll give you a promotion to like be a team lead if you sleep with me. And the idiot did it on the in-house chat, like a private chat in-house. I went on a vacation and the last thing I said to him was like, oh yeah, see you later. Came back, his desk was cleared. And I was like, what happened? He's like, yeah, man, he got caught sexually harassing the women here. It was crazy. Like, they didn't even give him a chance to clear his desk. They just told him to get the fuck out. So yeah, there's a lot that customer service reps deal with on the phone and in the office. Worst job ever. Let's continue.
Don't think about it. First thing comes to mind.
Oh gosh. I mean, maybe like a brain surgeon because the margin for error is so small.
You'd be wrong. It's actually professional wrestler booker.
Wow.
It's the person who runs television for professional wrestling. It's much more difficult than brain surgery.
I'll be perfectly honest, doing that seems pretty low stakes.
The lowest of stakes. The stakes have never been lower.
Both the same answer. Because when I think about that, the first thing I think of is brain surgeon as well. So good job, you win.
I mean, brain surgery is hard.
Like a Newlywed Game type thing.
So given yeah, exactly, dude. We would, if anybody ever did that, we'd crush
Clean up.
The reason why I bring that up, Larson, is because, as you know, these days, WWE, what are they?
Not on fire.
Oh, I thought you were going to say down bad. We're not on the same page.
Yeah, they're horny for quality creation.
They're horny for views, man. And a lot of that is because their creative is just sort of like, eh. Yeah. And so today on Count Out, look,
Okay, so hold on. Before he continues. So one thing I have seen quite a bit when it like from my friends telling me, from like watching, other YouTubers and going to the Squared Circle subreddit is WWE had his boom period. Cody Rhodes run a title. That was the one Wrestlemania I'd watched since, going, I'm not doing it anymore. And that's only because I love Cody Rhodes and I'd been keeping up with the Bloodline storyline. After that, I redropped it, but I've heard shit has been really, really bad. It's been really, really bad. I don't know to the extent, but it's been really bad. I heard Jey Uso is like part of that. And I hope not, because I like Jey Uso. Like, I've always been fans of the Usos.
I want to preface this by saying this. I don't want to hurt any feelings. Well, unless it's Triple H, I don't really care about that. But I don't want to hurt any feelings. If you enjoy the current WWE product, good, great.
Good for you.
We're happy for you. Enjoy it. Don't let us change your mind.
Right.
No,
However,
change minds.
Given that this past Friday, Smackdown, granted, it was on a Halloween. It was up against, I think, a World Series game.
Game 6 of the World Series.
Oh, yeah. By the way, something I heard today, November the 14th, so I am putting a date on this. Smackdown is supposed to go back to 3 hours. I hope you guys enjoy.
Game 6 of the World Series did less than 1 million views. The first time, the worst, it was like 993,000.
Holy shit. I was just about to look
That's
up
really bad.
the recent ratings. That's awful.
It was
I've
the
never
worst rating.
Typically, 2 million is like the highest amount.
Smackdown of all time, outside of when they get shifted over to FS1.
Holy shit.
Yes,
That's brutal.
Halloween and the World Series, and I'll be honest with you, a whole lot of who gives a shit.
Well, I mean, let's look to the previous Friday. It's not like SmackDown was cleaning up there. 1.15 million. That's not great.
No, it's not.
Oh.
So you can look at that. You can look at WWE being disappointed with the numbers for that episode of SmackDown in terms of the attendance. Now, not all. Look, this can be salvaged. I'm not saying that this is
I mean, I have heard that the WWE, or more specifically, their parent company, Endeavor, that's still like hard, like shocking to say that WWE has a parent company now because of Vince selling WWE to Endeavor. But I heard they've been pricing out like normal people and like getting the WWE whales to like pay these fuck ass prices. That's what I've heard.
WF circa 1995, but it seems clear the boom period is over. It's done.
Benito.
And what's wild is that we have actually tracked 10 things
10 things.
that have contributed to the death of the WWE boom period. Now, they could be back on a boom period pretty easily. Just do what? Good creative. Just do good creative.
That seems to be tough, though.
They done
from what I've
boom
heard.
period in 2025, and
Basically, it's at the beginning of this year. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start off with number 10.
10.
ESPN wants. Wait, how much do they want?
There's going to be one common thread throughout this episode, and that's WWE trying to find ways to get even more money out of their fan base. This is a wet cloth.
Yeah.
This is TKO WWE just wringing that wet cloth.
Yeah, not gonna lie, that's a lot of companies right now. A lot of companies have been trying to wring us out of our money every single chance they get. Like Netflix just went up like a few dollars, and they didn't even add anything new or substantial. They were just like, yeah, we're just going to charge for a few more dollars. There are places that have raised their prices and while also taking away things. No. And then you have AI on top of it. Are they out of their minds? Disney Plus. Yeah, I'm going to harp on Disney Plus. How dare they? How dare they? Like Disney, you're supposed to be like the animation like place. Why the hell would you go into the whole AI thing? Like AI the bubble's going to pop. Everybody knows it. It's just a matter of what is the last thing to what's the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? I can answer that. AI taking hundreds of people's jobs, and that has been happening. Like that bubble's about to pop, and you're deciding now at like the nth hour to go, oh yeah, we're gonna do generative AI. You guys are fucking scumbags. likes. Anybody who uses, I don't like anyone who uses AI. I don't. Because not only, okay, let me give a prime reason. I have been writing since I was 15 years old. I have been writing fan fiction, short stories. I write reviews for books now. And I'm working on my own novel. I use M-dashes. Do you know why everyone who sees an M-dash goes, oh, that's AI that wrote that? It's because AI sees so many authors using the M-dash, and of course, it doesn't have a mind of its own. It's just copying what it's seeing from all the other authors all over the world, and they use the M-dash. Using the M-dash does not mean it's AI. If you see, if you see an M-dash like every so often, it's a normal person. If you see an M-dash almost every other sentence, then it's AI. I actually had my first brush with a book that used AI. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not a hate channel or anything like that. But when I read the book, M-dashes were everywhere, in places they shouldn't have been, in places that didn't make sense. And I was like, first of all, this person used AI. Second of all, did they not have anyone proofread this? Did they not have an editor, a beta reader, anything? You just let this go out like this. The name of the title is in the middle of the book, and has like 2 M-dashes in it, and you just let that fly. You just let that fly. Okay, I guess that's not a problem. AI is trash, and that's not even getting into like the whole art debacle, But let's continue.
And every bit of moisture coming out of that wet cloth is.
Oh yeah, wasn't there? I think there's a rumor that Def Rebel, the people that do WWE's like theme music for their superstars, there was a rumor that they've been using AI. And I hope not.
Their fan base's money.
Wait, there's some at the end. Oh, there's a little bit of money here. So, look at this family, horny to go to this show. Let's ring that family.
So
turn it from family to 2 people.
Cumulatively. Finally got it right. If you look at how much it costs just to watch WWE's content.
I don't want to know.
So you got, including the pay-per-view.
Yeah, this is all tax write-off stuff for us, dude.
It is, but not for the average viewer of WWE's product.
No.
So ESPN Unlimited, assuming you're about the less than half of subscribers to a pay TV service who don't get that included in their pay TV service, you're talking $30 right there. You got Peacock if for some reason you want to keep up with Saturday night's main event in NXT PLEs. That's another, 15?
Yeah, 12.
If you want
15.
No commercials.
Maybe you're lucky like me and you get it through Xfinity, free gratis, but you got to sit through those ads.
Yeah. But even then, you're still paying for cable service. Anyways, you also got Netflix, which depending what tier you're on is anywhere from like $10 to $23, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it's like 20 something.
If you don't use a VPN or something like that, then you got to pay for cable to get Smackdown on USA.
Yeah.
Oh God,
I'm probably forgetting something. There's a lot of money you got to spend just to follow WWE's product because their content is all over the place and everywhere.
Yeah. Anyways, it's just the price gouging of ESPN and whatnot. We're going to talk about more price gouging here a little bit later in the episode, but first let's talk about number 9. Ads.
Ooh.
So you could call it over commercialization of the WWE product if you want. You wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah.
WrestleMania this year seemed just as much about pro wrestling as it did selling products and kind of doing a victory lap for WWE as being mainstream entertainment.
Okay, so this one I'm a little unsure of. Reason is I watch New Japan, and on their rings, WWE is now just doing it, but I've been conditioned to seeing ads and stuff because I used to watch UFC before it became Magaland. I watch New Japan Pro Wrestling and like Stardom and things like that, and they always have ads on the on the corners of the turnbuckles and on the ring mat and things like that. So when I saw that they were putting ads on the WWE ring mats, I didn't care much because I'm like, I've seen this all the time. Like, this is just normal in like New Japan, or UFC and things like that. It doesn't matter. But I can understand the annoyance because while I don't watch wrestling, I, kept up with, playing WWE 2K. And in 2K25, there are a lot of wrestling like stages that have Logan Paul's fuck ass Prime in the center of the ring. And I'm like, get that shit off my thing. Like, at least if you're going to have ads on your ring mat, at least make it entertaining. Don't put it right in the fucking middle of the ring. What the fuck are you guys doing? Make it look pretty. Like, New Japan makes it look pretty. Why can't you guys?
Yeah.
Every match at WrestleMania was sponsored by a different sponsor. We had the drumstick mascot in the crowd. And
I'm cool with that, though.
I'm actually okay with that. Of all the ad crossovers, that's the one I was actually kind of fine with.
It's funny. I like that you bring up the whole victory lap thing because it did seem like, and I don't know, this is one of those things that's a bit it's an intangible, if you will, where, for fans of football or people who just enjoy, hey, you know what, maybe if you're not into football every year, you would appreciate the spectacle of the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The Super Bowl is very much like just overly commercialized with ad after ad after ad.
That's
Everything
true.
has an ad attached to it. So it's not abnormal in this
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's the way the Super Bowl's always been.
Well, okay, so that's what I was
true.
about to say.
That's actually true.
It's not abnormal for a giant event to be over commercialized. WWE merely got to where everybody else already has been for 10 years. And the celebration of that seemed to be kind of the thing that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Okay, I could somewhat understand that. I will say, though, the Super Bowl is a big event that, like, a good chunk of America really cares about. More so than the World Series, truth be told, or like the NBA Finals. One thing I will say about wrestling is that while it's not as big as the Super Bowl, like, there are so many wrestling events and conventions and things like that that go on during the WrestleMania season, like during like WrestleMania week and weekend, that it's very much Super Bowl like. Like, when I say that WrestleMania is a Super Bowl for like wrestling everywhere, I mean that. And typically when WrestleMania is in a city, all the conventions and all of the legends and all that are around in that same city. I don't think they did that last year. At least I don't remember like seeing anything about them last year because Vegas was so fucking pricey, like to rent out the venues and things like that. Like, and again, this is the whole pricing out. Like, they're pricing out not only people that want to see the shows, but they're pricing out people that, get their biggest boom. I hope that makes sense. Like, it makes sense. I don't have a script or anything. This is just all off the top of the head.
It's to get there so suddenly and loudly, and it puts such a spotlight on, hey, guess what? Now we can be over commercialized too. That really kind of, I think, put a lot of people off, or at the very least, distracted them from their pro wrestling stories from 41 this year. To number 8. Main Event Jey Uso.
Oh.
Now, you and I have been both Jey Uso guys because we both feel like the writing of his character from the beginning of the Bloodline stuff around 2020 up until his Yeet phase, and even now that he's trying to be a little Roman, has been a pretty natural, organic, and pretty well-written character arc. We are not, that opinion is not reflective of a large part of the fan base.
Doesn't seem like it. Well, at least the internet wrestling fan base, because you look at the live crowds reacting to Jay's entrance. everybody seems pretty on board with Jey Uso.
They do. It's difficult to, I think, get a read on, all right, is this a situation where the entrance has become a thing onto itself that is keeping him over? Whenever he makes a save, the crowd pops really big for him. I mean, I don't know about now, but over the past year or so since he's been doing the Yeet thing, the crowd's been really pro Jey. They wanted to see him win the world title. There was some strong stuff there.
I feel like the Yeet stuff I'm a little bit unfamiliar with, but I've seen it on Squared Circle, and I know that it started between when he and Cody Rhodes were tag champions, and it just kind of caught fire. I think this is a similar situation like Stone Cold to what? You know what I'm talking about? What? You know what I was going to say? What? Like that's what I feel like. It's taken on a life of its own. Or if you guys want to get even more, recent, the Daniel Bryan yeses. Yes, 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 yes. When a wrestler gets something over like that, it outlives them. Bryan Danielson is semi-retired in AEW, and people in WWE still do the yes chant. Stone Cold has been retired for years and only very recently had one more match. The what thing, to my annoyance, still happens. What? I said it still happens. What? So I feel like the Yeet thing is going to outlive Jey. And it's going to get to the point where it's going to become, Yeet is going to become the new what? That's where it's going to. Do you think I'm wrong? Exactly. Assuming everyone stay quiet when I ask that. Like I was saying though, Jey Uso, everything they said about Jey is right. He was the linchpin of the bloodline. From all the clips that I watched, he was the linchpin. He was Roman's first target. He was the one that helped Jimmy get into it. His whole thing with Sami Zayn was top notch. The whole, I don't trust him, he ain't one of us, oos, all of that. His super kick on Roman Reigns. The whole thing with Jimmy betrayed him. I don't fucking know what was going on with that. But the WrestleMania where, they main evented WrestleMania against Sami and Kevin Owens, and when they defeated Roman Reigns, to keep the tag championships with Jey Uso getting the pin. Jey Uso's rise to the top, to the main event scene, has been natural. It felt like a natural progression. Even someone that doesn't watch the shows anymore can see that. The problem is his entrance. He's getting blown up. It kind of reminds, he's not suited to be in the main event spot. He's blown up before he even gets to the ring because of entrance. He's doing the whole thing with his arms. He seems nervous. The spotlights are too bright for Jey Uso. I think when he's a tag team or when he's in a mid-carder, he felt more comfortable. But once you start getting him to the main event scene, it's just he stopped. In all honesty, Jimmy Uso feels more comfortable in the main event spot than Jey. I feel like Jimmy would have been perfect in the main event spot in Jey's place because of how different they are. Jey seems like he puts too much on his shoulders, while Jimmy is a fucking crackhead. Who can make people laugh, but also have that seriousness to him. Jey, I feel like, is too serious all the time. Except that one time when he was drunk with Cody Rhodes. But yeah, I just feel like the spotlight is, the lights are too bright for Jey Uso. That's my thought on it. And it sucks that everyone's hating it, because for a long time everyone was like, Jey Uso should be the one to break Roman's streak. I remember hearing that a lot. That's how strong of a character Jey Uso was back then. But now they're like, we don't want him anymore. And it sucks. But it's also fair.
He's sort of in.
Plus, he had the whole stinker with Jimmy at WrestleMania. I don't think I could ever forgive that.
Indicative, and this is going to be something that we can kind of talk about it in a larger sense. Jey Uso is kind of indicative of a larger issue. He's been the same guy for all this time amongst a sea of the same guys for all this time.
Yeah.
This entry could easily be any of the other people who have been in the main event scene for as long as they have been.
Okay. I don't think that's true. I would say probably recently, yes. But like for a long time, Jey Uso was not the same. Like if you start him out before the bloodline to now, his character has changed. Like he's kept the core of his character, but that character has changed naturally, not dramatically, naturally. He's had a natural change. He went from just, a tag team player with Jimmy and the Usos, became main event Jey Uso as like a rib, because he was main event in Smackdown all the time, but he was, Roman's lapdog, like his third hand because of local asshole Paul Heyman. Then he started to descend, especially after what happened with Sami Zayn. Then he broke free of Roman's mind fuckery, his gaslighting. Then he became the Yeet Man, which is honestly the worst version. And now he's becoming what Jimmy feared when he cost Jey the title the first time, where he's starting to become more Roman-like and trying to get his title back. I feel like that's a natural progression. So even though he's yeeting and stuff still, which is just throw it out the window, his character is changing. There is a change. But I can see where, everyone's like, oh, there's no, character progression. But there has been. For Jey, there has been. For Drew McIntyre, there has not. He's been bitching for a hot minute now. Like, that's a good example. Drew McIntyre has not changed. Cody Rhodes, I haven't seen, changes in at all. Who else? AJ Styles, you've seen change in. Cena, you've seen change in. God, Cena. The day I talk about his heel turn, man. Where were you when John Cena turned heel? But I feel like Jey, that's unfair to Jey.
Specifically, Drew McIntyre. So, Drew at one point was one of the more interesting characters when he turned heel. And he started to adopt this outlook that everything is someone else's fault. He's blameless in all his misfortune. And
another person, Damian Priest. He has not changed. He has not changed at all since he left the Judgment Day. Hell, the Judgment Day, I don't know. I think the Judgment Day is the only consistently changing dynamic in a group. The New Day, since they've gone heel, there's no change to them at all. Waste after R-Truth, we thought he changed. Ron Killing should have been there, but he went back to being Cena? Honestly, that just makes me sick. I feel like there was legs on Ron the Truth Killings. A serious R-Truth would have been cool, but no, they had to beat John Cena again. Pisses me off. So he kind of reverted. R-Truth did. But I think the Judgment Day has had some changes.
When that moved to that character,
Rhea Ripley has not changed. The only thing that's changed with Rhea is that she's in this kind of beer baiting thing with Io Sky.
Interesting. He was doing really good work. In the year and a half, 2 years since, his character has not changed whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Now, you could have a good idea, but if you just hammer that good idea into the ground, it gets stale. Characters have to change and have to evolve. Situations have to be put in front of them for them to react to, and at some point make a realization that something has to be different.
These are sort of two sides of the same coin, I feel, because with Drew McIntyre, his character hasn't changed, and given that this guy was, in what many consider the feud of the year for WWE last year, it seemed like there would be a natural character arc where he would, eventually get to the point where he probably should, and that's become WWE champion. Like, that is, he's turned into, or he's phasing into like a Dolph Ziggler phase.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that hurts to hear. And that's doubly sucks for me because I was a huge Dolph Ziggler fan.
Well, hopefully it's just a phase.
Right.
Like, hopefully he's not just turning into Dolph 2025, where this is his lot.
And people want to see him get that title.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is Jey Uso, who does have the title and is pushed on us probably more, and it is catching up to the arenas because just recently he was getting booed at the Punk match.
I mean, there was
some fan cam of people saying "fuck Jey Uso." There was during the promo with CM Punk, and granted, this I think is a function of the writing. He tossed Jimmy out of the ring during the big number one contendership battle royal thing, and when that was brought up in the promo that CM Punk and him had, that was booed. He was booed when Jimmy showed up backstage because it was a function of the writing. They didn't like what Jey did. But there is also the internet, I'm going to call it outrage, but the internet criticism of Jey Uso as it pertains to his wrestling. And we actually sort of saw this play out on Unreal, where Triple H basically says, you're getting gassed by the time you get to the ring. And we kind of need to work on that.
Yeah.
And so
his endurance. Like the lights are too bright for him. Like it shocks me how bad his endurance is. Because I would think for someone that's been, I guess it makes sense. He was a tag team wrestler for years and years, and this is like his big thing as a singles wrestler. Like, when you're tag team wrestling, I guess your endurance doesn't have to be the best. But like, when you're getting in that spotlight, you should. I saw a clip of Xavier Woods doing not only like the Jey Uso, the yeet stuff, but he like went up and down like the bleachers quite a few times. And he was like, hey, CM Punk, if you want a real challenger that won't get blown up immediately when the bell rings, come hit me up. And he didn't even sound winded. Can we say the same about Jey? We can't. We cannot say the same about Jey Uso. He has no endurance. Jimmy has more endurance than Jey. Honestly, it might just be the same. But Jey needs to work on himself. He needs to, there's like a mental block, I feel, with Jey. Like, ever since he won the world title, like, and everything that I've watched him in, it's like something is just stopping him. Like, he needs to either step out of the spotlight and go back to like being a mid-carder, which he seemed more comfortable in, or a tag team player, or he needs to get better. He needs to be better. Like, because all the writing in the world can make you great, but once you step in that ring, all the good writing might as well just be thrown in the trash because you're not living up to your end of the deal. If we're going to push you, you need to be great. Okay?
So his continual push over names that people really want to see, like LA Knight as well, who wasn't even on Raw this week.
Yeah, that's crazy. Leading
to the conspiracy theory that because he grabbed a sign out of the crowd that said, we don't want Jey, we want LA Knight, and showed it to the camera.
I don't think I saw that clip. Huh.
I don't know how that's gonna play out, but there are names out there that people I think would respond to and want to see, and instead we get Jey Uso.
7.
SmackDown becomes Roaddog Kill. Get it?
You got pretty clever with some of these titles, didn't you?
Is the Roaddog Jesse James his government name, Larson?
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh, you didn't know?
No, it's not.
Oh, what a bummer.
Not at all. Yeah,
Okay.
There was a spell for a good portion of 2025 where Raw was, without a doubt, no uncertainty, the A show in WWE's lineup, because SmackDown was, for the longest stretch, at best, like competent, but in zero ways actually intriguing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And at worst, a complete bore.
Yeah, at worst you could fall asleep to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed to coincide
Especially
with...
when it was 3 hours. Especially when it was a 3-hour
Oh my
show.
God, don't even remind me of that period.
And it's coming back, guys. I saw an article on it today on Square Circle. Yes, SmackDown is going back to 3 hours in 2026. I hope you guys are ready. I did not know Roaddog was doing shit on SmackDown, but that kind of makes sense because the last time he was running SmackDown, the women's roster was listless, had nowhere to go. I heard they got Julia from Julia's on SmackDown now, and she's doing fuck all, and that pisses me off because she was my favorite when she was in New Japan. Pisses me off. Cause like she has the look, she has the talent. Just have her destroy things. It ain't that hard. But like Roaddog don't know what he's doing. If he's really in like the producer chair, he doesn't know what he's doing. Either get him out the chair or get somebody to book the women's stuff solely. I don't care what he does with the men's stuff. You know? I just want Julia to have better.
The time. It was like what, from October to...
Yeah.
Wasn't it like
Was June?
June, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first half of 2025. It was 3-hour SmackDowns, and they were unbearable because you'd sit there for a whole 3 hours. It would move at a glacial pace, and absolutely fucking nothing would happen. Looking back, the only like saving grace of that era was really the tag division, because they'd have two really good tag teams go out there and put on a 20-minute banger.
Yeah, they were good matches, but when you sit there and realize none of it really meant anything.
Yeah, I know, but at least we got to see Motor City Machine Guns quite a bit in our TV, and that's a great thing.
But that's
What's
what
that? What was that? What was that?
I did it. I did the thing right here.
No, but you got to hold it up a little higher.
I as long as it's within the frame,
It
I
barely
can do.
was in the frame. Thank you.
But it's funny you mentioned that, because that is the one thing I remember from the 3-hour SmackDown era is just,
where is the Motor City Machine Guns anyway?
But
I haven't
goddamn,
seen like
not
a
a lot
clip of them at
else.
all.
No. SmackDown was bad. It was bad for a good portion of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because like they had Cena on Raw most of the time. Like Cena was doing his heel stuff on Raw.
As SmackDown's champion, yeah.
SmackDown's champion. Yeah, that was wild. That was absolutely crazy.
That's
It was.
unfortunate.
I guess
Especially,
Mondays
like-
just fit into his schedule better, I suppose.
Especially once they lost like Kevin Owens. It was like, oh man, okay, so just this nothing is intriguing here whatsoever. And it was so bad that recently there was reports that they had a meeting to figure out, hey, how can we make this an actual fun show? Because seemingly just chopping an hour off it isn't helping that much. And there were some things, Ilya came back. They put the US title on him, and that was cool.
Yeah.
And like it has been better. It's still, until they're willing to take some risks with their storytelling, and mix it up a little bit. Hey, I get it. Cody's good for business. Do you need the prop on him? Do you need the title on him for him to continue to be best for business?
Has Cody even been on SmackDown? Now that I think about it, because every time I see a clip of him, he's on Raw. Like that just clicked in my head. I was like, wasn't he just like running in to save CM Punk and Jey Uso on Raw like a few days ago? Like he's not even on SmackDown. Who's champion on? who's the lead champion on SmackDown? Because Cody's not there.
Maybe he's best chasing the damn thing. Put it on
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre. I think people really would love to see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, SmackDown. Oh boy, that was a bore at some points.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about number 6.
6.
Part-time Roman Reigns. Man, from 2020, when the Tribal Chief showed up with Paul Heyman in tow, until he lost the title to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns really was a pretty damn compelling character. I'm not saying all the bloodline stuff was great, but Roman Reigns, you know, the insecurities that drove the Tribal Chief were consistently some interesting things. And even when he wasn't around back then, the rest of the bloodline and how they always felt Roman's presence to a degree. Sometimes he was like Thanos in the Marvel movies, where he wouldn't even be there, but people would be like, oh, this dude is just sort of lurking, you know. And
That's true. Like, during like the height of the bloodline, when Roman wasn't there, and we all know why Roman isn't there. Like, he's always fighting leukemia. You know, he needs his rest, especially with people not caring about other people's health, you know, and, you know, at all. You know, he needs to, like, stay off the road or he'll get sick and die. But with that said, he did feel like Thanos, where, like, his, like, with the bloodline, like, running roughshod on SmackDown, it really felt like, oh, Roman's gonna come back any week and just fucking tear into the bloodline for some fuck up they did. I still remember when Jay and Sammy were arguing, and then Sammy's like, "Oh, but I don't, but the Tribal Chief wants peace." And Jay said, "I don't give a damn what the Tribal Chief wants," and the whole audience just like, and like while Roman was lifting up his head. Like, what did you just say? Like, SmackDown with the bloodline, yeah, it got boring. But fuck, it was good because it had the whole unit. Now what do they have? I mean, they have Solo Sikoa and his bloodline. Gorillas of Destiny and shit, what's his name? What they changed his name to? JC Mateo, and they're doing like the face mask, the face painting, which is actually kind of dope. I saw a thing of that. That's kind of dope. But yeah, you know, Roman is very much missed, and whenever he is on the show, he's on Raw, like whispering Jey Uso's ear, and that's when everyone's like, and a combination of Cody not always being there and Roman not being there, it has kind of like devolved the product. Like I said, WrestleMania 40, finish the story. That's literally like the series finale of WWE. I maintain that.
he got some interesting character dynamics because they would all play off of the idea of Roman Reigns. And as the Tribal Chief, as the, you know, longest reigning champion of the modern era, he was incredibly interesting, and he became a legit draw and a reason for people to tune in. Once he lost that title, we got part-time Roman Reigns, and just
not only that, Samantha Irving. Like, sometimes the announcer also makes the wrestler, and Samantha Irving, when she would announce the bloodline getting into the ring, mwah, it was like a perfect storm. Like, cause she had the gravitas to deliver like Roman's name. Sometimes the announcer makes the wrestler. And I noticed that since she's left, there's not really anyone that can replicate her big fight feel. Like, think about it. Like she had whenever she would announce like Chelsea Green, like she used to do all that. Like, Samantha Irving also made the bloodline. Like, with her announcing. It's like you have to have a strong announcer. Like, what's his name doing the American Nightmare? Like, that's Cody's like I can't remember his name, but he puts that grit in American Nightmare when he announces Cody, and I'm like, no other person can do that. Like that guy, he's making Cody Rhodes. Like the all I'm saying is that the announcers also help the wrestlers quite a bit, because if they're coming out with the epic name and it's just like it's Christian, like it's all over for them. Samantha Irving was like the hidden member of the bloodline by her introductions alone. And she also gave that big feel to Gunther too. And Imperium.
There is no evolution to his character, like, at all. There was no epilogue. There was no interesting subsequent act for.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember when the crowd turned Roman face and he still acted like a whole gaslighting jackass. I actually like that aspect where he's not apologetic. He's like, I did what I did. I would do it again if I had to. And everyone just loves him for that. I actually like that though, that he never like backtracked at all. He was just him.
Roman Reigns.
Well, he's got to be around to tell those stories, and he's just not. When you got one of the top stars in the company, one of your top draws, that you're still relying on to pop number on a weekly television show that he decides to show up to, or his pay-per-view matches. That to not put in the groundwork to develop the stories, to make those stories all the more impactful because of his limited schedule, it does a disservice to your programming. We saw that last year heading into War Games, where they did a rush job on the Bloodline reunion. Yeah, the War Games match was still solid, but gosh, there was so much good stuff they could have mined during the course of that Bloodline reunion heading to War Games last year. That was just kind of pushed aside.
I heard about
it's like, all right, we're going to fast forward this because War Games is happening in 3 weeks.
If you think about the segments that they did during prime peak Bloodline with Sami Zayn and those dynamics, and where that all, left at WrestleMania 40, where that left everybody, the fact that they didn't mine that for the same type of compelling segments leading to War Games is a crime. It's an absolute bummer that, we got it. It felt more like, hey, we got the band back together. Let's play some greatest hits, as opposed to let's really explore this for some compelling television. A great example is pointing out, you need to apologize to Jey for everything you put him through. That never happened. Jey was just cool. It was just fine. And Roman never had to do that.
Nope.
And exploring that Roman Reigns character after he lost the title, they never did that. And that is something that could have been so incredibly interesting. But like you said, maybe it's a function of his contract that, hey, you can only do so much. You just, when he comes back, hey, Roman Reigns is back. Everybody pops. And who is he exactly? I don't know. He came back, I think, in the lead to SummerSlam after WrestleMania. And it was just like, nothing really there, know?
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So,
Again,
you had your biggest star and you sort of didn't do anything with him. Number 5. Brock Lesnar returns. You know that they anticipated that this was not going to be popular universally and incredibly unpopular with a certain segment of their fan base, because it was literally due to his return, they stopped opening up the floor for questions for Triple H with those press conferences.
Now they even do that same format. They just do like a post-show thing.
Yeah, they just have like a bunch of fans behind them. They're probably going to get rid of them because last time I think they were chanting like, bring back Edge, and there was something else.
Well, there was the thing where they were chanting, we want Cross.
We want Cross.
Triple H is like, oh, you hear them? They want Brock. It's like, no, that's not what they're saying.
Okay, can I talk about Karrion Kross real quick? So, Brock Lesnar, it's whatever. I don't care about him at all. Okay? Every time I hear his name, I think of that Dave Chappelle song, I'm gonna piss on you. Drip, 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 drip. I don't really care about this part of it. I don't care about Brock. I never have, never will. He's just bad. He may have not did the stuff that Vince did. But had that snowstorm not happened, he probably would have. I don't care about him. But Karrion Kross has the look, he had the crew, and he had his beautiful wife, right? On his arm. So you had Authors of Pain, Scarlett, Paul Ellering. Yeah, all of that. They gave him all the bells and whistles, all the cool themes, the cool opening, Fall and Pray, and all that stuff, and nothing came out of it. And when he first popped up on the scene in NXT, I was like, man, he has a look. But when he got into the ring, it's kind of like the LA Knight situation with me. There was just nothing there, just flavorless. Like, he went from this badass dude to just that. And so I don't understand why Karrion Kross was like getting all this love, because I get it, he's a good promo. Yeah, not good promo, decent promo. Like, LA Knight is a better promo than him. But it was a decent promo. I liked his Devil's Advocate thing. Like the clips of him doing that with like Sami Zayn. And I even saw a thing where like whenever he was feuding with someone, he would change his hairstyle to match their hairstyle. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. But like, I'll put it like this. Bray Wyatt was an imaginative person, but he also had really good matches. His matches with Roman, like his matches with Cena until the bullshit finishes of those matches, were good. Bray Wyatt was a really good wrestler. Rest in peace. And he had the promo to back it up. Karrion Kross, it just felt like he was like a poor man's Bray Wyatt. He had all these cool things about him, but once you get in the ring, he had nothing. I never got the appeal of Karrion Kross, like outside of his entrances and stuff. Like, okay, yeah, this guy's a badass. And his matches, just nothing. And never got the appeal. And it sucks because I'm not trashing anybody that likes LA Knight or Karrion Kross, not at all. Like who you like. But like for me personally, I'm like, I just don't understand his appeal once that bell rings.
For a variety of reasons, I think, speaking as someone who doesn't seem that concerned with exploring dimension in their character, Brock seemed perfectly content, just kind of doing the same thing he's been doing since he came back in 2012 for the most part.
Yeah,
WWE
City and all that.
Keep on paying him a shit ton of money,
and they're going to cater to whatever he wants to do because they still think he's a draw. Maybe there's metrics that prove that. I don't know.
No.
I just know as a viewer, a longtime viewer of WWE product, and seeing Brock do what Brock does for now more than a dozen years since he came back, I'm tired of seeing him on my television because he offers nothing new, especially when he puts on dog shit performances like he did at WrestlePalooza against Cena.
Yeah,
he won that match, didn't he?
And I think a large part of the fan base agrees too. And when WWE has to bend over backwards and say, we don't pay attention to anybody except for what we hear in the arena, okay, well, we'll see how that serves you. Much like, and we'll talk about this later, much like, the philosophy of, we're trying to price out families of their ticket price. So we'll see how that works out for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you see Brock, you can't help but think, and I know for a lot of people, and some people are totally cool with it, whatever, but you can't help but think of the number of times he was mentioned in the Janelle Grant lawsuit.
Yeah. Also, I made a video about like why I quit WWE. Again, like to the point where I was even used to like buying their games. WWE 2K25 is the last game I buy for them for a while. And I had a lot of people going, oh, and it's, business is business. VTuber opinion, all you have to see, all that shit. Hey, fuck all of you. Okay? I'm just going to be real. Y'all want to ignore that shit? Go ahead. Be my guest. I bet you guys are the same people that are ignoring what, the U.S. leader is doing right now. So You know, with everything that's going on there. So, you know, if you guys if that's the people you wanna look up to and, you know, give those passes to, fuck you. All I gotta say about that.
Yep.
And that alone is just, it's like, if you can't see him and not sort of think about that, then that's an issue. That's a problem. And you know, just from anecdotally speaking, my God, I can't tell you how many comments we've had in our videos, how many times I've seen on Twitter people say, yeah, dude, this is a big turnoff. I'm not interested in WWE. It's just not for me. If they're going to bring this guy back, they're basically saying something
Exactly.
About their priorities.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a big turnoff. I think that was just something that, you know, if you can pull a move that you know is going to turn off a portion of your fan base, I'm not sure why you're doing it. Are you so bereft of ideas that everybody can get on board with? You know, instead of bringing Brock Lesnar back, why not just call up Obafemi and book him in the same manner?
Exactly. Exactly. Just do Oba. He's younger. He has more than you know, Piss Boy could ever offer at this point. Like, how many times can you see a suplex? A suplex, F5, suplex, knee shot here. Like, it was cool in 2015, you know, when he was feuding with Roman and they had, you know, Suplex City. Like, back then, like, he was riding off the wave of defeating the Undertaker and becoming, you know, the beast. You know, we're 10 years from that, and Piss Boy has brought nothing to the table. Just bring up Obafemi, take the risk.
You know, people will pop for that. People will appreciate that, because on top of the fact that this guy has been busting his ass in NXT, did a killer job as champion, you're introducing us to a new star. This guy is going to be the future. And instead you just sort of wheel out a guy who, does he really help all that much? Does he really move that many tickets? You know, you're a machine people, in WWE. You know, nobody is. You can do this with a number of other people and not piss off a portion of your fan base.
Well, I think that what you mentioned there is probably why they feel justified in doing it, because they view themselves as a machine. They think, well, people are fans of the logo. They're fans of that WWE logo. You know, and so, yeah, some people, they probably consider them outliers, are going to get angry about, for example, Brock's return or any number of things that we've mentioned or going to mention on this list. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be a sizable number of fans. And if they leave, well, at some point, they're going to come back anyways.
Yeah.
And I hate that mindset, because the reason I hate it is because I can understand it. Because eventually something's gonna happen. Like, it happened to me. I left, you know, during COVID because of the Saudi Arabia stuff, and then due to all the mass firings, I left. But then I eventually came back because of Cody Rhodes. Because of the build up to WrestleMania 40. I came back. And then I watched that and I left again. But NXT, once again, knows how to pull people in with, I don't know what HBK has. He's putting crack in his shows. And like, even watching the clips, I'm like, NXT is a fun show. Like, comparing like the clips I see of, like, yeah, we have AJ Lee. Marvelous. I love her. Mwah, marvelous. But like, when I look at NXT, it's fresher. It's like, it has the goofy stuff that wrestling should be, but it also has the seriousness too. Like, I could watch Tatum Paxley fucking play Dollhouse. You know, she just became NXT Women's Champ. Nice. But then I could watch Omafemi fucking launch Javon Evans from the ring to the announcer's table, and people play that as dramatic. And he's like, is he gonna get up? What's he gonna do? Like, you could sit there and watch Ethan Page be a goofball with Chelsea Green but then he could put on a brutal match, with someone doing twisted grin, on someone with a steel chair. So it's like in a sense, they're right. Oh, they'll leave, but they'll come back eventually. Some people are stronger than others, but eventually it does happen. And I hate that it does. And my only hope is that enough people leave when Piss Boy comes for them to go, okay, yeah, Piss Boy's he's not bringing in anything, But I will say, even NXT can't wash off the stink that WWE has on it right now. Because right now, at the same time, you have other wrestling shows that are there. TNA, which I guess is a WWE subsidiary, at this point. TNA, well, no, they just kind of fucked up big time with Santana. Never mind. You have AEW, who just did Blood and Guts. They have they're doing a lot of stuff where me, who I, never give a chance to AEW because I was more into like New Japan and Stardom and Marigold at that point. I was like, the only wrestler I know is like, Monet and Tony Storm and Adam Page. Now I'm starting to tune in more into AEW stuff because, like, I feel like they have the values. Like, they respect my view as a viewer watching their product. It's extremely bloody, like too bloody at times, but, it doesn't have the W there, but it's doing good things. And it's making people tune in. So to the point where I hope WWE goes down with everything that they're doing. I hope they go down. I hope AEW wins. I hope something better comes out of WWE's ashes. Maybe HBK creates his own wrestling show, and brings everybody from NXT there or something. I don't know, but WWE's just not it.
Yeah. That's probably their attitude.
Yeah. You're probably right. That's one thing that I feel like Triple H. And it's funny. There's a promo from like 2015. I don't know. It's an Authority promo, I think. And granted, he's totally in character. But Triple H, it's the one where he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Leave? You gonna stop watching?" But we all know you're not. And it's like since that time, their audience is fallen off big time. Because they have
such a
a variety of moves. And granted, back then up until 2021, it was because of Vince McMahon, and the buck stops with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do sort of get the idea, I think, sometimes that Triple H is fine. Triple H thinks that, like, no matter what we do, they will continue to watch. We will continue to score these billion-dollar deals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what justifies that arrogance, because 993,000 people tuned into SmackDown instead, and
the usual
I don't know how many hundreds of thousands didn't, because of things that they found more interesting, whether it's going out for Halloween or whether it's the World Series or what have you. But people found something else to be interested in. And if you're producing content in a business way also that doesn't alienate people, you might not see those huge drop-offs. People might make you a priority.
Yep.
Let's move on to number 4. Saudimania. Talking about business deals that are turning people off.
Yeah, this seemed inevitable at a certain point, especially, a couple of years into this partnership they've had with the Saudi General Entertainment Authority for since 2018? Is that the first?
Yeah, about around that time. What I want to say too is, I don't like when a lot of people are like, "Oh, Saudi." They're not talking about the people, like the actual like civilians of Saudi. Like, I'm a civilian of the of America, and so like people aren't going to look at me and think, he's his government. So I don't look at. So I'm like, the people of Saudi deserve, to watch wrestling stuff, right? I don't like Saudi's government. I don't like how they keep dipping their fingers into everything. Like recently, they're like, they just recently bought EA, I believe, which puts a lot of games that I like Mass Effect, for example, and Jeopardy, of their fuckery. They bought SNK, which was my impetus of leaving. I don't fault, the normal everyday person in Saudi Arabia. It's their government that I have an issue with, and I don't like the shit that they do. I don't like the things that they've done, and this isn't, a huge, like, I'm not going to go on a huge rant on it, but like a lot of people I know a lot of people that have tuned out of WWE since 2018 and never went back since because of the mess with them sports washing Saudi Arabia. Like I said, they're doing it with games, they're doing it with sports. Like, you hear that a lot. It's like they're really trying to get into every little crevice. And I worry about that because their government aren't good people at all. Like, morally, they're not good people. Like, there's no reason for I'm not getting into it, but this is a huge point.
First show there?
2018, yeah.
Yeah, so for the last 7 years. There have been reports throughout the last at least 5 years that Saudi's entertainment authorities looking to bring Wrestlemania.
Do you remember, was there a rumor that some people, or speculation, I should say, that COVID Mania, a Saudi was an option for COVID Mania?
Oh,
for
no, I never
the
heard that.
2020. Okay, maybe I'm completely wrong.
I've never heard of that either.
Did UFC? Where did UFC go? Never mind.
Didn't they just do their shows at their?
They did
one in
on an island.
Shoot.
They had like a facility. They had the thing.
They have a facility in Vegas.
They had a fight island.
Didn't NXT do a show there or
Apex.
something?
Yeah.
The Apex. Yeah.
I think that's where they started doing their stuff.
Okay, all right. I'll just shut up then about that.
But of course, the sports washing aspect of WWE's shows in Saudi Arabia,
not just WWE,
has been a source of controversy since this partnership began. And now that WWE has decided to bring their largest show of the calendar year,
both Royal Rumble and
Saudi
Wrestle
Arabia, you got to expect, all right, the number of eyeballs that are going to be on this show are significantly larger than any other show they do in any given year, WWE. So you got to, I guess the concern is they're going to double down on the sports washing aspect because they know a lot of people are going to be watching the show. WWE,
like I said, they're doing this with video games. They're doing this with like TV shows. Like, they're really trying, like, with other sports, not just wrestling, not just UFC, but with basketball and stuff too. They are really trying to sports wash all that shit away. Like, that's a thing. Like, that's not hyperbole. That's actively what they're doing.
And then the next massive deal is to go to Saudi Arabia. Now, from a shareholder perspective, from a business perspective, you understand why they're doing it. Because they're a publicly traded, TKO is a publicly traded company, and they have to appease their shareholders. So, of course, they're going to do this. But, in the long term, you just wonder, okay, how much can you piss off your fan base?
Yeah. You got to wonder, a lot of these moves that we're talking about here, especially financially, these short-term moves that seem to benefit the company and the shareholders more immediately, what's the long-term ramifications of these particular deals or these particular behaviors? And that,
well, I could tell you that people are just going to stop. They're just going to stop watching. It's as simple as that.
Remains to be seen. Another aspect I wonder about too is, my understanding is that UFC was heavy with debt.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe now with the WWE merger, I've seen some speculation on this, so hopefully I'm not making crap up, that TKO is using some of these WWE deals to help alleviate the debt burdens on the rest of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because they're under the same, it's TKO now.
Yeah, it's under the same umbrella now. Yeah.
Umbrella. So, yeah, they had, was it UFC specifically or Endeavor in general? I forget.
I think maybe it was Endeavor because of the UFC deal.
Okay, maybe that's it. Yeah. I do know that entity is saddled with debt. That's 1,000% true. So regardless of what the specifics are, WWE is a money-making company. And that's why the speculation that, they might sell to the Saudis, I really doubt that, because WWE is a long-term money-making company. And they can continue to pay off those debts and probably, accrue new debts along the way, because that's what companies do these days.
They do. They just pile on debt, and if it gets to be not so sustainable, then they find a way to try to pay it off. Yeah,
right, exactly. Or
pretty
they
much
just, don't. So yeah, Saudimania pissed a lot of people off. Let's move on now to number 3. WWE is the game Triple H. So
it wasn't that long ago that there was reports that Triple H was trying to make himself into the Dana White of WWE.
I believe that. And it sucks. Triple H has literally been like my favorite wrestler. Like, everyone liked The Rock, everyone liked Stone Cold. Everyone liked Mick Foley. But me, I was a Triple H guy. Like, I thought the pedigree was sick. I thought that, during his feuds with, The Rock and Stone Cold and stuff like that, I thought he was just he was despicable. Like, JR would be cursing him out literally every so, damn your soul to hell, Triple H, you son of a bitch. Like, JR would be going crazy because he hated Triple H that much. And, I love Triple H, because he's that damn good. Up until, I would say, up until not last year. I would say up until this year. Like, I've always been kind of sketchy on Triple H. Like, when he went from, wrestler to the CEO, the COO, and all that, I've been sketchy of him. I mean, as a wrestler, I was sketchy of him too. Like, the whole thing with Booker T, kind of made me go, that could be Vince McMahon writing for him. But at the same time, he seems to be, he ain't that good of an actor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how when someone does something, and you're like, okay, they're doing this a little too well, and they're not that good of an actor. And, a lot of his, the era of terrorizing and the reign of terrorizing / his run with Evolution, I also hate it. Like, I love the heel role he was playing. Like, I still maintain that Batista wouldn't be as big as he is without Triple H. But at the same time, I'm also aware that Triple H has buried a shit ton of people. And I realized that he might have, like, Bret Hart, for example, like, everything with the Montreal Screwjob happened. Bret Hart eventually forgave Vince and Shawn Michaels for that. But for some reason, he still hates Triple H. And I'm like, okay, I mean, he could forgive the two main people who screwed him over, but why did he not forgive Triple H? But I'm slowly starting to come around to, maybe he did suggest the plan. And that's why, Bret Hart hates him that much. But, on top of that, on top of, hit the reign of terrorizing / his Evolution run, the stuff with CM Punk, that soured me on him. And then, he stopped being a wrestler. So I was like, okay, he's not a wrestler anymore. He's booking NXT. He's doing a great job there. Maybe he's not, a big tool. What's the best way to put this? Now that he's booking for other people and he's not in the limelight, perhaps he's not a tool, like a big mark for himself. And I wanted to believe that. And then this year happened. And it was like I never reversed. Like, cause it went from I love Triple H to okay, this is sketchy to okay, things are looking up to now I never want to see Triple H fucking fake ass Kratos God of War looking ass ever again. I am sick of Triple H. I'm done with him. And it's like every time I look up a piece of news or whatever he says, it's like it's that opinion of him is getting worse. So I'm curious to see what Steven Larson says about Triple H here.
Yeah.
The face of the company, much like in UFC, fighters come and go.
But Dana
You
is
always
eternal.
put Dana White in front of the camera to be a representative of the company. They wanted Triple H, or Triple H wanted Triple H, to fulfill that same role within WWE.
I mean, this one is interesting in several aspects because I would think that given that there was the time when there was like, some Vince and some Triple H, and it seemed like TKO Endeavor was like, remember the story? He was knighted by TKO, by Endeavor
I remember that
be
story.
the guy in creative, and there was no more Vince. And I would think that maybe the case could be made that, yeah, it's kind of important for us to have a Dana White figure, a guy who, because to this day, when Triple H comes out, he gets nothing but cheers, Even during the dark days of WWE, when 2019, when hell, even when Vince, even after the allegations, and Vince went on that weird, I'm gonna go out there anyways, and people would still cheer the guy.
Yeah, that was confusing.
It's gonna be a while before anybody boos Triple H. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
It is.
And so
It is.
to decrease the leverage of wrestlers, you have the guy who's going to be there regardless, not the people who can come and go if they get a better offer from those other guys. And so I understand it from a variety of reasons. The tricky part is when you start letting him take the company in a direction that is construed by a lot of people as a very unpopular direction. We're saying this one day after the elections here in the United States, where the guy that Triple H loves oh so much.
U.S. leader you're talking about. Yes.
I'm talking, of course, about U.S. leader.
Oh, they said that too. Okay.
Who gave us that one?
It was Guion.
Guion?
Yeah.
God, I love Guion. So U.S. leader his party got absolutely killed in the off-year election.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy about that is like after that event, everybody and their mom, like all the wrestlers came out. Like I think Cena's the only one that didn't, because Cena tends to stay out of politics. But like Roman Reigns was like, yeah, I voted, Democrat, up until this year with, dear leader, because like he's one of the boys. And, Triple H, he has a theme that goes bow down to the king. And Triple H is not only bowing down to US leader, but he's fucking clocking his ass. He's fucking doing tricks on it. He's bouncing on it, Dio. Like he is fucking like if they put the Devil May Cry rank thing up there on a corner while he's doing it, it will go from D to like triple S, smoking sexy style, because he is riding on that shit. Like I saw stuff about SummerSlam where he was with RFK Jr. and US leader and he's doing his whole entrance at the White House, and I'm like, can you slob on it more? Like, you're literally like, it's like that meme, expert dick riding, expert level. And it's crazy too because, while Triple H is bowing down to dear U.S. leader, apparently U.S. leader has been bowing down too to Clinton, to Bubba. I heard the rumors were. God, how crazy is that? It's like a whole slobbering, just Glock 8,000, like a Glock centipede. That's crazy. But yeah, like, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, Triple H, I thought you stopped wrestling. Like, I thought you couldn't wrestle anymore. Why do you have your knee pads out? Like, like bouncing on it. Like, it was shocking. And I was like, oh, you've gone full mask out. And it was and it was crazy too, because you could see the build up and you could see like the fan reactions to it on the subreddit where they were like, oh yeah, Triple H is there to support his mom. And then Linda. And then all of his comments came out. Oh no, he's not. This had to have come out before. This is like, and then SummerSlam happened, and like the revolt was amazing, and they should have saw it coming. I mean, they have fucking Logan Paul on there, like, and I heard there's rumors that at Cena's last match, they're trying to get, U.S. leader and everything there too, which is crazy. And like I say, Cena doesn't do politics. I think he learned his lesson after, the whole Taiwan incident. So I wonder how Cena's going to feel, I'm curious. Well, let's see what they have to say.
We're at like record turnout in California for a single proposition.
Yeah. I filled out my ballot and I was like, it's the only thing I'm voting on this time?
There's not a fucking like school board or something that I'm supposed
there's no bond measures or anything like that?
Right. Nothing, just this? Okay,
just
cool.
that.
Yes, it
Circle
is.
that yes bubble and take it to the polling place. Yeah.
Take it down to the polling place. And so the idea that Triple H is trying to cozy up, and look, I get it. President of the United States, in general, pretty big deal. but this particular president of the United States,
destroyed.
Let's take a look at his current approval rating. Oh, a new low of 37%.
The lowest.
Drop another 12 and you'll be in Nixon territory.
Yeah.
And so,
I think that's coming up too.
To say the least, this U.S. leader is controversial.
And understatement
polarizing
of the century.
And I understand, obviously, Triple H's mother-in-law is a member of the cabinet, doing everything she can to dismantle that particular department. And a lot of people, especially wrestling fans, where there have been studies to show that wrestling fans do not roll. We do not fuck with those people. Are not interested in that.
Not at all.
They're not interested in that.
Nope.
And when things like Triple H showing up at the White House to promote whatever childhood cancer initiative they have, which is hilarious given that they are defunding research into childhood cancer.
Yes.
Is absolutely silliness. And by the way, if you have a problem with us talking like this in the comments, just keep it to yourself. We don't care.
No.
You're just exposing yourself, and we'll probably just ban you from our comments.
There's a good chance that'll happen. Yeah. December 13th is going to be an interesting day. It's Cena's last match on Saturday night's main event. It's in DC, which is an interesting choice because early reports seem to indicate this is going to be from Boston.
Yeah,
that's where Cena's from.
Yeah,
it's from the Boston area.
It's DC.
That he's going to be on what's it, next week? It's coming Monday.
Yeah, it's this coming
Raw's
Monday.
in Boston, and that's going to be Cena's last appearance in that area.
Crazy. Couldn't even have his retirement at
it was Meltzer saying that WWE has invited members of U.S. leaders' current administration to attend that particular Saturday night's main event. No word on if U.S. leader has been specifically invited or if U.S. leader plans to attend.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play out, but it.
it's gonna play out like this. He's gonna go and he's gonna get massively booed like he has with everything else since he's with every other place he's been in. Um, it'll probably get worse because they'll probably start chanting for his best friend. Oh god, that'd be so humiliating. You know what's crazy though? Can you imagine like being the most so there is a ton of Todd in the Shadows episode about Robin Thicke. And Todd talks about how Robin Thicke is like Ben Affleck's character in Gone Girl, where people are happy to see them fail and be miserable, and they hate it when they're happy. I could never live a life like that. Like if I woke up and the entire world hated me, like I must have did something really bad. But can you imagine just like the entire world hating you and only like a small subsection of it? You know, you have to cling and hold on to as tight as you can. Even in that's slipping through your fingers because shit's starting to pile up. Like, that's crazy. And what's also crazier is because as of today, November 14th, uh, dear US leader decided to cut ties with his rabid attack dog in MTG and confirmed what AOC was talking about how he like went back on his word and like she's out for revenge. And AOC was like, that's the T. That's why MTG is like against him. And he confirmed that while also kind of like trying to not talk about, his deceased best friend and, the claims of Bubba and all the stuff that was in his email. And I'm like, what happens to Triple H? Like like right now, his whole identity is trying to turn the WWE into, a MAGA fest like UFC is. Like, and like Steven Larson just said, wrestling, ironically enough, despite everyone saying, oh, it's just redneck anime and stuff like that, has a very strong left wing, like, fan base. Like you seldom see like MAGA stuff in there. And so I wonder what happens. And I guess I wonder this about not just Triple H, but to a lot of people that have hitched their wagon onto the MAGA train. What is going to happen when that all falls away? What's going to happen? Do you guys just disavow it? Is it like, oh yeah, that never happened? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm curious because for Triple H at least, like for people that are like MAGA, like regular people, they can just kind of hide away. Like they could just push all of, that the things that they hate back inside and go back to their, dog whistles and stuff like that once he's gone. For Triple H, like he was publicly bouncing on it, Dio. So what does he do? Because that's out there. That's on the news. That's on that. Like that's there electronically. What happens at that point? Like, how can you take it? Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't me. That was someone else. Because I'm the game. And I'm doing a promo. Like, what the? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do when that all falls away and you have pictures and video of you with him with local yerk infested or RFK Jr. and all that? What happens? I'm curious.
It is one of the, I feel, biggest missteps even if you're a diehard MAGA guy, right? If you love U.S. leader, even if you're that, you have to understand Vince McMahon, who loves that guy.
True.
Vince McMahon did not want to have anything to do. Would he ridicule? Like, I know he did like the Clinton thing, like he made fun of Clinton.
That's true.
I feel like that was a bit more just bad comedy as opposed to, hey, you never saw him cozy up to like the Bush administration. They would be like super especially post 9/11. Oh my God, they were all about the troops and everything.
That's true.
But Vince McMahon would never embrace, especially understanding. Look, like I said, if this was a Reagan 84 situation where it's like just a super popular, president, U.S. leader who the country loved 49 out of 50 states, then okay, yeah, maybe you do that.
Yeah.
Because it's a universally loved thing.
Exactly.
But Vince wouldn't be caught dead doing this shit.
No.
Wouldn't be caught dead doing this shit.
He didn't even do, I don't know. Vince didn't even do it. Like, say what you want about Vince McMahon. Okay? The dude's going to hell. Let's be real. Vince McMahon is going to hell when he goes. But even in 2016, because Trump's his buddy, right? Dear leader is his buddy. He still didn't do that. Like, we knew his politics, but Vince is such a weird person because he can make fun of himself as well as make fun of other people. And for his politics, like, okay, let me bring up an example. For Vince's politics, for all that we know that he is, he celebrated, Black History Month, MLK Day, Pride, Pride Month. He would celebrate all that stuff, right? He had no problem with it. He put, Sonya Deville, Darren Young, and, for Pride, they put them all out there and things like that. Like, and during like President, especially like when it was Obama and McCain, like he actually had, in the lead up to, like the primaries where Obama won, for example, I remember there was a Raw where he had McCain, he had Hillary, and he had Obama speaking, and on the Titantron, he didn't cut them off, he didn't do anything, he just let them cut their promo, each of them. No and he didn't show any favoritism on that at all. He just let them cut their promo, and yeah, he did a thing where it was like Obama versus like Hillary, which is like critically panned, and he had Obama win that. And of course he made fun of Bill Clinton and things like that. But he also made fun of like McCain and stuff like that too. So like even though we knew his politics, he kept everything split. Sometimes that didn't work out too well. Need I remind you of wrestling fans of what was that group's name? Definitely not the Shield. They were supposed to make fun of like Antifa and anti-fascist. He made a group that had Dio Madden, Donovan, Dijak, Mia. I guess they call him Meechin now. Meechin. Who else? The tag team, the Mighty Don't Kneel. I can't remember the name. But like outside of that group, which like failed, it died a death immediately. Oh, and then Mustafa Ali took over leading that group. Man, I miss Mustafa. Anyway, hell of a wrestler. But outside of like that, Vince would keep his politics out of it. He kept it neutral. And also, he kept everything like family friendly in terms of the pricing. Now with TKO and Endeavor, you know, Triple H, like Triple H thinks that his crowd is like UFC's crowd, which is pure MAGA, you know, but it's not. And I've seen so many people like at SummerSlam, like I saw clips of people like, no, we're done with WWE. This has gone way too far. Like he's made his stance known. And it's going to cost him at the end, especially when everything goes tits up. You know, not tits out, tits up. Like where would they sit at that point?
And so it is surprising to me that this is something that Triple H is interested in doing.
It is surprising, and you know,
It's like a
maybe for Triple H it's a flex. Look, I have access to U.S. leader.
I still don't know. I don't know. I think it is. I think it's, to me, I've always felt it is, you know, I've seen speculation. We've talked about the idea that, okay, he's maybe trying to appeal to the UFC type fan via the politics, which is nuts to me and really wrong-headed.
It really is.
I do think it's more a flex, but also we're legitimate. I think his main driving force is legitimizing, getting rid of the stigma. Oh, that's fake, as opposed to, oh, this is fun entertainment and understood for what it is. And I feel like part of that desire to legitimize, I think part of that process is, well, this is the president of the United States.
I feel like, okay, so I feel like it's kind of the, that's a good point, but even then, he's like, Vince never had to do that. Like, Vince never had to go that far. And not only that, I think this is like that case of, oh, we can just do whatever we want. You guys will still watch, or you guys will come back. That was in the Saudimania section, which was in part 4 of this. I feel like it's the same thing as Saudimania, where in the ad thing where he's gotten he's taken a victory lap of, we can do anything that we want, and he's letting his politics and stuff know, because he knows people are going to watch WWE regardless. Like, that's what he knows. And again, it's such a bonehead move, because it ain't gonna last. It's not even lasting now. Like, honestly, with Dear Leader's health, I don't even think, like, I truly don't think it's gonna be past December. Like, he really hitched his horse on a not sure bet, on a weak hook. It's so, like, I wonder if people that have done this, that have capitulated to US leader and things like that, I wonder if they understand that he's not gonna last forever. I mean, who would take his place? Moonface, JD Moonface, the couch fucker? No, not even remotely. That dude has no charisma. He's trying though, because, you know, we've been seeing how he's been close to Erica Kirk and how he's doing, you know, Turning Point, which is, you're the vice president. What are you doing? Like, just like, he essentially has taken that podcaster's place at his company, and with Erica Kirk being all, you know, him and her being super close now, he's gearing up to take, like, mark my words, it's going to be in December where either everything with, U.S. leader's best friend comes to a head, or, his health comes to a head or whatever. And they're going to immediately push for the couch fucker to be the guy. And it's not going to work because as much as I do like US Leader, he has the charisma. He somehow managed to tap into, you know, a lot of deplorable people's heads to make them act as cruel and malicious to other people just trying to make a living. Um, and he's tapped into that, and without that, it all falls apart. So, and Triple H is one of them. Sadly, he's one of those people, and it's like, what are you going to do when it all comes to a head?
Yeah, you're swapping one stigma for another.
You're right. That's how I see it as well. That's absolutely how I see it.
So, yeah, I don't see any benefit.
Because how many comments have we seen? Oh, it's a MAGA company. It's a MAGA company.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would never have had that under Vince.
No.
That was never the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, all Triple H all the time. Next up, number 2. TKO, pricing out families with their ticket prices.
I came prepared with the quote. It was Mark Shapiro appearing at the Goldman Sachs Communicopia Technology Conference. What a clumsy name to fucking event.
The Communicopia, Larson.
The Communicopia.
I'm so glad we got to bring back the Communicopia talk.
So this is what Mark Shapiro had to say at the Goldman Sachs Communicopia Technology Conference. See if we can find ways to work in Communicopia just like I can Motor City Machine Guns. Anyways, WWE, that's what you say about ticket prices. WWE is not where the UFC is yet on ticket yields. We have our work to do there. We've seen a meaningful increase as evidenced by the 59% margin we did in the second quarter. Blah. Ticket sales and site fees play a big part in driving that. We know we have more room to go. Blah. Why do we know that? UFC is breaking records everywhere they go. We know we have a lot of room here because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity there. We see what we can do with the UFC, and we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield. And advanced sales when it comes to on location on the WWE side is really working well. So I thought about this.
I thought about it too. Like, when you make Vince McMahon, like I said, there's a lot you can say about Vince McMahon, but he was very like, we're going to entertain the whole family, good or for bad. We're going to entertain the whole family. We're going to have the whole family there with these cheap prices. They're going to be COVID empty. Do y'all remember the COVID Raw and Smackdowns? I do. And it kind of killed the magic for a little bit. Like, I remember when I think it was Edge. He came out, he did his stuff, he did his promo and his pose. Like, when the pyro stops and he walks, you can hear his footsteps. And it's like, oh shit. This is not gonna be fun. Or what's another one? It's gonna be as quiet. Cause it's only gonna be like the whales that'll buy, the tickets. The WWE whales. And for people that don't know whales, it's kind of like what's the best way I could put this? When people just buy like large amount of like something to like get like the best gear in a video game, or like 24 karat le boo, for example, like collectors, but they're literally like, I don't have to. Fuck it. Basically, a whale is someone that buys a huge amount of cosmetics in video games, or stuff like Labubu's in real life, because they don't want to miss out on the FOMO. the fear of missing out, essentially. And with the way they're pricing the tickets now, like, for example, the last time I went to a WWE event, it was like shortly before COVID. I didn't have to pay. I think I paid like what, $50 for my ticket, you know, and I saw a ticket price, and for like for the same seat I would be in, and it was like 200, 300, and I'm like, and it wasn't even a good seat. By the time, like, if they're gonna price out all the normal like families and stuff, and it's just gonna be the whalers, and they're gonna make the product so much worse because they're not there to watch the wrestlers. They're just there to, potentially be on TV or be a part of a big, kind of be in the background of, like, let's say, like a heel turn or some major event. You know, but outside of that, they're going to be quiet. They're going to be as quiet as Bobby Fish going, "Where's the lie?" You know what? I will show that clip just to understand the reference. Um, I'll put it like around here somewhere. But that's pretty much what WWE is going to be like. And again, because of, the previous point, it's gonna be filled with, MAGA. Like, everyone's already kind of given up on WWE and, are calling it a MAGA company, just like they are with UFC. And it hurts because I used to be a UFC fan until I kind of saw it turning that way. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Plus Conor McGregor. I hate that dick. All right.
So if you compare even WWE to other sports, like the NFL, like, which charge a premium for tickets, but I think even those have declined slightly. Obviously, NBA tickets are expensive. Baseball
Like,
tickets
you
are
wouldn't
more
know.
expensive than they used to be, but still not that bad, at least here in this, in some areas.
Yeah.
But if you compare specifically like WWE to UFC, I was thinking about how here in Sacramento, WWE generally comes to this area twice a year.
Sure.
When is the last time UFC has come to Sacramento?
I legit don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think usually they might go to the Bay Area, Southern California. I mean, they have shows in Vegas all the time. Or if you compare WWE to any sort of national touring act, so here living in Sacramento, which is not a huge market, I think we're top 30 in the nation, but, definitely not LA, New York, Chicago, Houston, whatever. And yet we get WWE twice a year.
Yeah.
And now if we want a major musical artist to do like an arena tour, if they come to Sacramento on a regular basis, we're talking every 2, 3, maybe 5 years, they stop here.
Yeah.
So if you want to charge a premium for an event that we know twice a year we're going to get here, and think you could charge prices comparable to what apparently Pearl Jam was charging for their pit tickets, when at best here in Sacramento we get them every 5 years.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a disconnect there, and especially when you have a situation like in Salt Lake City where they're doing shows back to back.
Yeah.
You're already hamstringing your ability to fill that house at least one of those nights.
Yeah.
Because in the span of a weekend, you're oversaturating that market.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I guess the point is, especially on the concert side of things, prices for concert tickets are fucking outrageous.
Yeah, they're huge.
But they make a little bit more sense because there's a premium attached, because at best every 2, 3 years you get to see that artist play live at the venue near you.
So, quick story. Family member of mine went to California to go see 17. And the cost of her tickets, like the cost of her ticket normally was like $350. Or no, I take that back. It was $250. A premium like VIP ticket was $500. And like to kind of give you a good idea, like the prices she had, during that time, outrageous. And the seats that she had for the tickets, it wasn't like right up to where she could see the K-pop singers. It was a good decent way back. Um, like it was a decent way where she could like see them and stuff like that, but she wasn't like up close and personal. And to compare that, she went to a concert like a few years earlier, in California. I can't remember who she saw down there, but I do remember the ticket prices were so much lower. Like it was 150 for like the in range seat that she was in, and then 300 for like a VIP thing. So like from then to this past October, that is a $200, like a $100 increase for from, or $50 from 150 to 200. And then for uh shit, okay, so 150, so yeah, it's a $150 increase from a few years ago for like a normal seat. And then for VIP, it's another like 200, if I have that right. So yeah, it sounds about right. So like, just to kind of give an idea. Hold on, 150. Yeah, that's 300, and then 400, 500. Yeah. So so quite a like it's at least doubled. I had to do quick math. Sorry. Just to kind of give you guys an idea. And like it was it was a concert like a year or two ago that she went to. So you're seeing that jump in pricing. That's for a concert. For something like UFC or like a wrestling event, that, and with the way they're raising their ticket prices, is going to be obscene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most major markets get WWE at least twice a year. So it's not like you have to wait years in between Raws being in your town.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
So I don't know if that thought process goes in anybody's mind there, or it's simply, all right, we're going to keep cranking this dial up to, how much people are willing to spend. And if people stop buying tickets at that price, we'll back off ever so slightly.
Don't you guys love capitalism? Don't you guys love, how capitalism keeps just pricing you out of everything that you like, from wrestling events to your games to even simple hobbies? Like capitalism is just the bane of the earth, and it's going to kill us all. Like truthfully.
Yeah. If they're still in the phase of we're seeing how much money we can wring out of our fan base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then we see them playing or doing a lot of their shows of late in smaller venues, or if they're doing it in the same venues, setting it up for a smaller capacity.
Yeah.
So it's already a situation where it seems like for weekly television, the expectations of the tickets they're going to be able to sell is lower. But maybe it's a thing where, all right, the individual ticket yields, because the tickets themselves are more expensive, is still making money in these shows. And we don't have to sell as many per se, because there's still people that are going to spend $1,200 for a ringside seat to a random episode of Raw. We don't need to sell the $20 seats up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, but dude, I don't know. With the number one issue on the mind of voters, anyways, from what I've learned over the past 24 hours, is affordability.
Yeah,
and that is the type of thing that if you play that out, if you expand that, if WWE's creative continues to underwhelm, the fall off is going to continue.
1,000%.
It's going to continue.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah, there's got, we've talked about it for weeks, if not months now. There's going to be a breaking point.
Yeah.
Everything is a value proposition for the fan base.
Yeah.
And if the ticket prices, which are already outrageous, get even more outrageous, but the quality of the product does not match what WWE is asking their fan base to pay to view the product live, people are not going to pay it.
Yeah, true.
And then they got to start backpedaling on these ticket prices or start doing 2-for-1 deals or something like that, because people just aren't going to pay these outrageous sums of money to go see an episode of Raw live where, you get to go out there and eat a little bit, but nothing really happens.
Yeah. So it looks like the last time, and I've been trying to verify this, the last time UFC was here was 2019.
All right. 6 years ago.
And there seems to be a suggestion that they're going to be back in 2026.
All right.
But apparently that is not actually on the schedule yet.
That's actually crazy.
So, yeah.
I would expect
like
more events to
for you,
go
a little
to Sacramento.
A little research. Anyways, let's move on to number one. The WrestleMania 41 main event finish. I maintain. Larson, that. Coming out of WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes. That was the boom. Cody Rhodes wins the title from Roman Reigns.
Series finale.
Over the next year, things are all right. Things are good.
He's doing decent.
They're continuing on with the, it wasn't overwhelming, but things are emotional. You got CM Punk showing up at some point after that. I think, was 40 was
No, it was before that. It was before that.
Yeah, it was before that.
Because Cody won the Rumble that Punk was in when he came back to get the Mania spot. But then The Rock was like, Cody, I want your soul.
What did Punk do at WrestleMania 40?
He was on commentary because he tore his tricep.
Oh, that's right.
And he cost Drew McIntyre the title after he beat Seth Rollins for it.
It was the Drew thing. You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Daniel Priest won.
So things are good. You get the big John Cena heel turn at the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hear me out. John Cena's heel turn. Okay. I liked his promos against Cody. Like his promo where he called Cody his chauffeur is actually my favorite John Cena promo. I actually liked his heel turn. And they kind of gave up on, him being a heel. And it's crazy because so one of the things I watch is I watch a lot of like WWE 2K YouTubers that have like their own like federations and stuff pop up. Even I want to do one of those. I've softened my stance on it a lot from like earlier this year where I was like, I want to do a wrestling series on my YouTube channel. Now I'm not because of this. I've softened my stance up on it where I just might do that again. But I watch a lot of, people that do their own like universe modes, like Gorm Perkins or something, for example. And I've seen like people like that do Cena's heel turn way better than how it came off in real life. And like I said, I loved when he turned heel and when he would cut his promos and not act like, a typical champion, wearing his belt backwards, have the ringside boxer announcing. I love that shit. Like Cena being like going out to kill wrestling, and being the last real world champion. Like that's why when I do my introduction, I call myself the last real stargazer because I loved him going, I'm the last real WWE champion. I liked that. I wish that, like if I could do his heel turn, I would have him go about that. But I would have him do matches like he's doing now as a face. So I would still keep, doing like the tribute, moves like the spear and, the Sister Abigail and, the cutter and the final cut and stuff like that. And Mrs. The Skull Crushing finale and stuff like that. But I would also implement it to where he's also doing heel stuff too. I feel like they gave up, like it just petered out. I just feel like they gave up on it too soon. Like they should have let Cena go full whole hog into his heel turn and booked it properly. But they can't because they're afraid of risk and his sad heel turn that people have been waiting for like decades, wasted. And that sucks because I really liked where it was going when it first started. Also hated I also heard and hated, Travis Scott. I hate Travis Scott in general because of what he did with Astro World. He got a whole bunch of people killed. And that was another thing where I was like, okay, they're really like leaning into shitheads being here. I'm just glad that Travis Scott is not in 2K25. Like that means I only have to contend with resident YouTube shithead Logan Paul and resident douchebag frat boy Pat McCaff. Though I don't even use them at all, actually, now that I think about it. And if I do, they get squashed. But yeah, Travis Scott most definitely ruined Cena's heel turn. The Rock should have been there. Simple as that.
Oh, wow, that's great. Yeah, The Rock coming out in October, I think it was, for, what was it, Bad Blood or whatever it was. And then WrestleMania. What's going to happen? John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Why is this match so slow? Oh, we're coming down to the point where they're going to start overbooking this shit. We're going to get number 17. Who comes out? It's not The Rock. It's Travis Scott. Why is he meandering? Why does he look like he's on a gentle stroll with his fake hardcore championship that Triple H gifted him?
I do want that hardcore championship, though. Like, I would actually like to have the hardcore championship. That's the only thing that they should have put in WWE 2K25 for us to have is that hardcore championship. Travis Scott can go suck a fuck for all I care.
Then he comes out, does a couple stupid things. Nobody really gives a shit. And then Cena wins after just a shit match.
Yeah, it's a dog shit match.
And people were just like, well, this is a bunch of crap. And then you get a Cena heel run, which was like, okay, that's all right. Couple good matches, some decent promos, but like no reference to The Rock. And then the face turn happened in a really lame promo involving beer and Cody Rhodes on the SmackDown prior to SummerSlam. And I maintain that Travis Scott moment was an inflection point. That was a make or break. Are you going to keep this great momentum going? Are you going to that Elimination Chamber bit was great.
Well, the momentum, okay, so the momentum had already started going down because we just got it like right before WrestleMania 41, a shit ton of just news coming out. You had Roman revealing himself to have voted for, dear US leader. You had all the images of Triple H, at the White House, with Linda McMahon when she's being sworn in, as well as his comments on Dear U.S. Leader. Then you had, I think Mick Foley at the time was talking about, it was Mick Foley and Cena talking about they always love Vince. They don't, they understand he did bad things, but, they still love them and stuff like that. So, the energy was bad in the lead up to WrestleMania 41. And I feel like the product from that run up to WrestleMania 41, it just died. And Travis Scott was just the icing on the shit cake.
Are you going to keep that momentum going? And they just showed that no, we don't have it. And we're not even going to try. We're not even going to try to explain what the deal with The Rock was.
No. They put themselves in a situation because ticket sales for Elimination Chamber weren't what they wanted. So they called Dwayne to make an appearance to sell some more tickets and set themselves up to be in a situation where expectations were at a point where they couldn't deliver upon them. And they knew that. They knew that, and they did it nonetheless. And I think at 41, any illusions that we had that what Triple H was doing from a creative standpoint was following some kind of vision in a long-term sense was dispelled with, because we saw it play out in a way that was very indicative of, oh, this is all just put together week to week like Vince was doing. Not in the exact same way. But you watch Unreal. How much stuff seemed like was planned? Nah, we're going to change it. And that happens in pro wrestling. I get it. But when Triple H is talking to The Rock ahead of Elimination Chamber, they're talking as if, oh, we got these great plans. You know, you're going to do this. And The Rock's like, should I come out like this is something that was planned? And Triple H's like, yeah, do that. Okay. Where's the follow through?
Yeah, let's expand on that plan thing.
Let's expand on the plan. What's the purpose of it? What's the end game? What is, like, you got to answer these questions if you're setting up the story, and you have to deliver on those expectations if you want your fan base to be satisfied with that creative direction.
Like, they could have easily tied Roman into that Cody thing where, like, for example, you know, he decides, okay, The Rock is like, okay, I want Cena. Cena sold his soul to me. Take him out. You know, and then, you know, they have the promos and stuff. And then Roman Reigns comes back. And, you know, because The Rock is higher than the tribal chief, he could have speared Cena. Or not speared Cena. He would have speared Cody, allowing Cena the win. And not only would you get heat on Roman for backing down, you have a built storyline between Roman and The Rock right there. And you get, you know, your Cena Cody moment too. And you get, you know, that massive heel, you know, victory that it could have been. I feel like that could have been a plan. If The Rock couldn't have been there, it should have been Roman that did the interruption, not Travis Scott. Simple.
But they didn't do any of that. And they never had any intention of doing any of that.
Which is
because
wild.
They put themselves in a situation where they couldn't do it because The Rock couldn't be at WrestleMania, and they knew that at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Dumbasses.
Yeah, it's wild. And I maintain that they have not recovered from that. And
no, they haven't.
As I said in the beginning of the episode, and I said in a very tongue-in-cheek manner, I do not think that pro wrestling booking is more difficult than brain surgery. However, I do maintain that it is an incredibly difficult thing. You know, I've always loved your assertion that every band has at least one hit in them.
Yeah.
And if you look at the number of bands who have put out banger after banger after banger records, they're very few and far between. Mm-hmm. It does not happen very often.
Yeah.
And I feel like to consistently bring the creative energy necessary for consistently compelling live wrestling television is simply not an easy thing. It's something that has honestly never been done past a couple years at a time. If you look back at the Attitude Era, for example, you have Vince Russo feeding Vince McMahon a bunch of ideas in collaboration with, you know, Jim Cornette, Bruce Pritchard, whatever. And you've got a pretty decent run of episodes, which was what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And
That's
you look back and it's like, yeah, it just simply hasn't been done. And there are always ebbs and flows. There are always peaks and valleys when it comes to wrestling creative. And I feel like there's, you know, there have been opportunities for them to improve their stuff. And in certain places here and there, they have. But the potential with the talent they have is so much greater. And now that they don't have the burden of Vince McMahon and all of the baggage that he came with and his inability to listen to anybody, least of which is fans, you do have an opportunity to put on some compelling stuff. And for all the billion-dollar deals you've cut, you probably should be putting on some more compelling stuff.
Absolutely. You know, and Triple H, you know, stepped into, you know, the chief creative officer, CCO role at a point when one of, if not the best stories in the history of wrestling was going the Bloodline saga. And, you know, he
kind of
had the opportunity
really.
to use that story to carry so much of his programming. And it did. You watch some of those episodes of Smackdown when the Bloodline stuff was at its best. Outside the Bloodline stuff, there is jack shit going on.
Yeah.
And there's episodes where there was not a lot of Bloodline stuff in it.
Yeah.
There was not much really to focus on.
Yeah.
It's true.
That story, you know, the main part of it, the body of it, is ended at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And it seems
Series
like ever
finale.
since then, they've been scrambling to find something that has that same magic to it. And they haven't, or they can't.
Meanwhile, if you look at NXT, they're always like trying new stuff. They're always trying new things, you know, and taking risks with their characters and you know, showing things like that. And I don't know what it is about NXT. Like maybe it's because it's a smaller like domain that you know Triple H then and now HBK now has to focus on. But NXT, especially with the pay-per-views or PLEs or whatever, it's been banger after banger. You know what I mean? They like all the right calls have been made in terms of who should win, who should lose. And if it's not, at least you get a banger match out of it. And like even on a daily show, like you have like TNA superstars going back and forth. Like things are always fresh and always moving. The main roster doesn't have that. And I don't know how they can fix that to where the main roster can have kind of like that rejuvenation, that excitement that NXT seems to get every week. Like Chef HBK, Chef Michaels down there is always cooking up something. And it's crazy that, you know, you have this, what they'll probably say is the C show this is literally this is literally a repeat of Vince in the main roster and Triple H in NXT. This is literally the exact same situation. The main roster isn't giving anything, while NXT is the shining beacon of WWE. Literally head to toe. And it's such a strange phenomenon that's happened again.
You know, we saw what Triple H had, how he handled booking in NXT. It's all pretty straightforward stuff.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
You know, he relies on building matches and having the matches deliver. That seems to be his philosophy for the most part.
There needs to be. I wonder if, you know, the number 3 entry where Triple H is everything, right? Well, we've heard lately that he hasn't been at televisions. There was one where he wanted to be on like a podcast or something.
Yeah.
He just did another podcast recently. And it makes me wonder if he needs to take a bit more of a Brian Wilson approach. Like, hey, I get it, dude. You want to be the face of the company because you feel like the company needs a consistent, strong, steady hand in front of the cameras. And part of that is doing press. I get that. But at a certain point, are you sacrificing the quality of your creative? I'm not even saying the guy should be at TV. I don't fucking know, you know, if it's that important for him to be at TV for moments that don't need his particular, you know, hand involved. But in terms of crafting a vision throughout your year where, you know, I've thought about this recently, and if they adopted the philosophy, and I know this is very us-centric or content creation-centric, but we know every single review that we do, we know how well it's going to do based off of what we watch on television. If they can craft television where every single episode has an event, an image, or a title that you can use for a thumbnail and do good with your views, if you are a content creator, then you've accomplished your task. That means there's interest, because whenever we do a good number, there's interest in your show. Your rating is probably going to be pretty good. And you know, I don't, whatever, even if you expand that out beyond the idea of like, okay, well, how would this look good on a thumbnail? Just what's the hook of your episode? What are people going to be talking about? Because that's what you want. is what are people going to be talking about? Oh, Motor City Machine Guns put on a good match. People aren't going to be talking about that unless there is a reason that Motor City Machine Guns put on that amazing match that will resonate with the story of Motor City Machine Guns. See, I threw you a bone there.
Thank you. Yeah, and honestly, at this point, if WWE Creative and Triple H can craft a really interesting story, intriguing, compelling story involving Motor City Machine Guns and the rest of the tag division,
you don't have to continue it.
That would be something else, because that shit would show me, all right, our focus just isn't on the 5 or 6 40-year-old men in our main event scene. We're putting that level of attention across the entire show.
Specifically, the 2 40-year-old men in the Motor City Machine Guns.
In the Motor City Machine Guns. But you know what I mean? At least the focus isn't strictly on the 5 or 6 40-year-olds in the main event scene.
Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Is the WWE Boom Period done with? And
yes.
so,
you're not asking me. Sorry.
100%.
Well, we've talked
bad.
about it for over an hour, so I hope you think it is.
Some of us for
Let
over
us know
2.
in the comments below what you guys think about all this. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.
And that's it. Oh my gosh. It's actually 3 hours. Oh my goodness. Before edits. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be after edits. Holy shit. This reaction is going to take so long. I'm going to have to really work on cutting it down. Anyway, but you guys heard their thoughts on it. You've heard my thoughts on it. What do you guys think of it? Is there any way that the WWE can rejuvenate, their boom period? Or is it just all destined to fail and become just as bad, if not worse, than, the Vince era of WWE? I don't know, but that's all for me. Thank you guys so much for joining this fucking monster of a reaction. This is the last real Stargazer Saturday Blues, and I'll see you guys amongst the stars.